Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome to the final episode of Kingdoms, Season 1. Welcome to the final episode of Season 1, guys. We are here where it all began, in the Kingdom of Alltomb, and today we're going to do a world tour, and there will also be a world download in the description below. If you want to download the world, it's got to be in Java. You must be in version 1.12 or higher, and basically you download the file, you put it in your saves folder in your Minecraft directory, and then you unzip it, and you should be able to load into it just fine. So that's how you get into the world. But anyway, we are here in Alltomb. And this is where it all began. This was the first kingdom that we built, and we kind of came back to it a couple times throughout the season. We started by building this little tower. We've got our Nether portal here. We've got like a town hall or a meeting place, a community center, whatever you'd want to call it over here. Our first storage room was over here, down through this little cave. We got all sorts of stuff. I don't think there's actually anything in any of these chests at this point, but the storage room itself is still intact, except for all of the AFK fishing farm stuff. And in fact, there was an AFK fishing farm that no longer even exists. It was destroyed, and then I think I replaced it with another one. There's an auto smelter down here, just a real simple one. The AFK fishing farm was back here. Yeah, and I haven't even revamped this one. I believe is functional, but it may not even be. I'm not sure. I haven't needed to use one in quite some time. But this is the start of everything. And the story of this place is that it's like a little mercenary outpost. There's some mercenaries that live here, and they go throughout the world. Down here's our mines and the Hall of Patrons for all to recognize all the people who support me on Patreon and make this series possible. There's the door. I was going to say, we've got some other farms and stuff around here too that are kind of hiding. Also, you may notice if you're new to Kingdoms, first of all, welcome. Second of all, you may notice some textures here that are a little different. There's a texture pack that I made myself that is used for this series. You can find a link to that in the description as well. But here we have an automatic chicken cooker farm thing, little netherwort farm, and down here, our relatively simple 64 sugarcane farm, 64 plants, basically. That does get us some sugarcane. If I make another sugarcane farm in the future, I'm sure it will be much, much bigger than that one. But, you know, it was enough to get us started, and that was the important thing. Also, before I forget, the shaders that I'm using, CUDA version 5.0.3, the same shaders that I always use for everything whenever I use shaders. But this is Alltomb, and it's beautiful, and I love it, and there's a lot of history here. We've got walls around the whole thing. We've got lots of different stuff here to see, and also there's a lot of other stuff to see in this world as well. So I don't want to dilly-dally here for too long, but we'll probably finish the tour here as well because the Nether portal connects to everything. Now, I had a horse that I brought with me. Oh, I hear him. Horsey? Where'd you go? I hear my horse. I don't see him. He's gotten lost. I don't know where he went. I can hear him though. Where did he go? Did he get trapped in a hole somewhere or? Okay, seriously, I hear the horse over here. I'm not sure where he actually went. I dismounted him right here. Horsey, I don't know. Let me find my horse. I'll be back. I'm back. I logged out and logged back in, and he magically reappeared. So I think he just wasn't rendering. Probably something to do with the shaders. It happens sometimes. You'll encounter some weird graphical things. But anyway, let's move on to the next kingdom. Now, the cool thing about this world is that it's basically made up of a bunch of different kingdoms, basically areas that all share a common theme, right? So like this one is kind of a generic medieval, semi-Nordic style, but really just more like medieval fantasy-ish kind of. That one's a pretty generic style because this is where we started and we needed to keep it very simple. But everything in this world is connected up through roads, right? So you take this road going out of Alltomb, and this road will take you to our next kingdom, which is our farming village. And I should also say, this is episode 150. We're probably not going to have time to look at every single thing in this world over the course of this tour. We'll probably miss some things, like little things, like, for example, this bandit camp, this little bandit cave, which I think is really cool. I actually really like this build. It turned out very well. But there's a lot of little stuff like that kind of scattered throughout the world, hiding in different places. And we probably won't have time to look at absolutely everything as much as I'd like to, but that's why there's a world download. You guys can download it and explore it for yourself. Over here, though, this is this is Anona. I'm sorry. This is Anona. This is our farming village. We have llamas. We have sheep down here. There's a bunch of sheep. In fact, let's get off our horse and go look. Down here, this is where all of my colored sheep are, and then there's a larger sheep pen up above, where I get all of the wool that I need. We have cows. You can see I've been busy harvesting things. There's a barn right here. This is kind of it's almost a Tudor style, is the style and theme that we went with here. We built this, or we started working on this kingdom right when bone blocks were added to the game. This is a world that's relatively old, so this is right when bone blocks were added to the game, and I took one look at them and went, that would make an amazing Tudor house. That would be great for Tudor-style medieval houses. So that's what we ended up doing here, and I think it turned out really well. I think it's quite beautiful. I got little planter boxes and stuff. This is really just more of a couple of farmhouses and a barn, and then some livestock, and obviously we've got some big sprawling wheat fields over here, which still could be added to. But this was our second kingdom, and a kingdom that I would consider mostly done. I wouldn't call it complete. I mean, nothing in Minecraft in a survival world is truly complete when you're talking about big building projects like this. Like, there's always more you can add, right? Over here, though, this is Solace, and I know there was many people who said, please build a road between Anona and Solace. I didn't get around to it. We ran out of time, but that's okay. Over here, this is Solace, the City of Light, which is not much of a city right now, but will be someday, I'm sure. We have this giant cathedral right here, which looks amazing from a distance. It's absolutely beautiful. And a very large build that took way longer than I thought it was going to take, if I'm being entirely honest. It is very detailed. There's a lot of it's a very messy, detailed style. Some people really like this style. Some people don't. I like it in this instance. I think it turned out pretty well. But this whole thing is basically kind of another style that I don't know if this would really match up to like a true realistic real world style of some sort, but I like it. Tall roofs, very light colors, yellow and white are really kind of the colors here. But really the big draw here is the cathedral. And there's a couple other, houses and stuff that look cool, but this is a place that is certainly not done and will not be done for a very long time. And we'll talk about that later. As to what exactly is going to be happening with Kingdoms, because as I said earlier, this is the last episode of Season 1, and Season 2 starts tomorrow, so get hyped for that. And I already talked in episode 149 a little bit towards the end of that episode about what my plans are, but I'm going to rehash a little bit of it, just for those of you who didn't watch that, because I'm sure there were some people who did not watch episode 149 and are just tuning in for the first time since this is a world tour, and it seems like a good place to kind of get caught up in a short while. But you take this road that leads this way. What direction are we going? We're going like northwest. You go northwest out of Anona and Solace. You follow this gravel stone road, and this will eventually take you to another kingdom. This will take you to our fourth kingdom, actually. Our fifth kingdom, not our fourth. This is Woodsong, which was kind of our Nordic theme kingdom, inspired by Skyrim. There really aren't very many building materials in Minecraft that really translate to a true Skyrim style in vanilla. Because in Skyrim, if you look at most of the houses, most of them are thatched roofs and like a very light colored It's more of a plaster or a white, but I mean, we could maybe make it work, but I was looking at some things, and either way, though, this turned out pretty well. I like the way that some of this looks. The Jarl's Longhouse over here, I think, is amazing. The Jarl is kind of like the mayor or the person in charge, the lord of the area, and we've got this big, giant longhouse, which is actually kind of inspired by, like, the Stav churches. In some ways. There's some similarities and some very significant differences as well, but I think it's kind of cool. On the other hand, there is also another kingdom that's hiding somewhere, and it's the only kingdom that I don't have a road that leads to. Well, I do have a road that leads to it, actually. This road was going to lead to it, but I was making the road out of coarse dirt, and then I realized it was going to go through a great spruce forest, a mega taiga, where half the dirt is coarse dirt. So I kind of was like, I don't know where it goes. But there is a road that leads here from Anona. It's like an underground passage. If you go basically straight north out of Anona, you'll find, or is it north? Maybe it's west. I don't know. I think it's north, straight. It's this way. West. Yes, you go straight west out of Anona and you'll come across it. Although we may have missed our opportunity. It's kind of hard to find because the thing is, it's a kingdom that's built in a ravine, and that makes it sort of difficult to spot. I don't know what that is. There's Alltomb. So yeah, we are definitely lost. That's all right. We'll just run through Anona and we'll take the pathway like that and do it that way. Then I can show you where the pathway is as well, because that's kind of important if you want to explore the world for yourself, I suppose. You do want to be able to kind of see where all the things are. Also, it gives us a chance to swing by our skeleton farm here. This was built relatively early in the series, and I think it's a very cool build and one of my favorite builds, actually. A lot of kind of dilapidation in the walls. We really made it look kind of run down. It's a skeleton spawner farm. Nothing fancy as far as the mechanics of it goes, but the way that it looks, I think, is very cool. We made it very run down, very messed up, which I thought was very fitting for a skeleton farm. But anyway, this pathway that goes out of Anona, right? Here's Anona, our farming village. You take this bridge right here, and this bridge goes underground, and you take a pathway, and this will take you all the way to the Ravine Kingdom, which is known as Wrathnor, I believe. Horsey, no. Okay, fine. You can stay here. Don't wander too far. Well, it's not super far on foot, but basically this is just an underground passage. I wonder if I can fly this. Oh no, I can see it from here, actually. I can see the kingdom. It's right here. But you follow that straight, and eventually you'll come out into this ravine kingdom, which has some kind of hidey holes and things like that. The idea is that the people that live here are very poor. They're very, very, very poor, and they have to live basically in like makeshift houses and things in caves in the walls of the ravine. But they're also very industrious, and they like to tinker. It's kind of inspired by like Goblin Town in The Hobbit, for example. We got some ale casks. There's like a little tinkerer's workshop over here with some random like gears and widgets and levers and things that do stuff, that don't really do stuff, but they're just there for decoration. We've got like the Cave of Shinies, where they have all the stuff that they take. Remember, it's inspired by like goblins in mythology, and specifically in Lord of the Rings / The Hobbit, like that universe in Middle Earth. We've got up here, there's, I think, yeah, this was actually going to be something, but this is another kingdom that is far from finished. Like, there's still so much more that we would want to do here before we could really call it completed. But it's one of those things, you know, sometimes you start a project and you just kind of lose interest in it. You know, it happens. And this was kind of one of those projects for me, if I'm being honest. I started it and I was just kind of like, I don't know. I just lost my inspiration and ended up moving on to something different. But anyway, let's get back out of here. And now we get to go to the crowning jewel of kingdoms, my favorite kingdom in kingdoms. And that is the Roman-inspired town of Regnum, which is basically what we've been working on for like the last, 30 episodes, 40 episodes, something like that, quite some time. We've been working on it for a long time, and you follow the road going northwest out of Anona, the road that leads through our Nordic village of Woodsong over here. And this road then goes out that way. It goes north, I believe, right? Yes, it goes north out of Woodsong and takes you all the way to Regnum, our Roman-inspired village. Now, I should mention, the Roman-inspired village is Roman-inspired. It's not meant to be historically accurate, to be an accurate recreation of a Roman city. But it's inspired by it, and it takes a lot of ideas from Roman architecture and the way that Romans laid out their cities and things that you would find in Roman cities and stuff like that. And the road goes straight there. So it will come up. You can kind of see it coming into render just off in the distance there. It goes by a little traveler's camp right up here, and then you can see Regnum off in the distance. And this is the kingdom that I am absolutely the most proud of. And we'll get to it very shortly here. But little traveler's camp, just to kind of stop and rest. You know, a couple of travelers on their way, probably from Woodsong to Regnum, I'm thinking, and they stopped here to make camp for the evening. Also, by the way, for this tour, I have daylight cycle turned off, so we don't have to worry about trying to sleep in the middle of the tour, but I'll re-enable that shortly. But this is Regnum. This is an awesome kingdom. I love this kingdom so much. We've been working on this for so long. Last episode, we finished it, and I think this is the first kingdom that I would truly consider finished. Like, there's a very small handful of things that we could still add here, but I don't think this kingdom needs anything to feel complete. I think it is complete. We've got a market. There's a big statue right here of a soldier as you walk through the gates. The walls, I think, really add, the walls of the towers for that matter. There's a big, like, Roman soldier here, basically. In here is our Nether portal, hiding in this little house right here. We've got stables over here, which I'm actually going to make use of. Thank you for your services, Horsey. You just stay in there now. There's the market where lots of goods are sold. There's a couple of temples. This is a temple right here to the goddess of the harvest, the agricultural goddess, who is doesn't actually have a name, but probably should be named. I don't want to use like real world religion. Like, it's not a temple to, was it Athena, who was the god of the harvest for the Romans? I think it was Athena, although that may be Greek too. I sometimes get my Norman or my Roman and Norse, or my Roman and Greek mythology mixed up, but I think it was Athena was the god of the harvest. But don't, or goddess of the harvest, but don't correct me if I'm wrong. And then in here we have the god of war, and this is the temple to war, because the idea is that we wanted Regnum to be kind of a militaristic society in a lot of ways. They kind of glorify battle and combat, so they've got big thick walls with lots of defensive towers. There's a barracks hiding back here. They've got a temple to the god of war, big statue in the middle of town, stuff like that. And then there is lots of houses, and then there's the Colosseum. And the Colosseum is pretty awesome because the Colosseum doubles as a functional build. Underneath this pit of sand, underneath the gladiatorial arena, is a mob farm. And if you AFK on that glass platform up there, which looks much better without shaders on, you will get drops, mob drops for days. I think it's something like 7,000 drops per hour. It's a farm designed by Nembon MC, actually designed for this world specifically. He was kind enough to do that for me. But you can see we've got plenty of mob drops, lots and lots of stuff. And I've gone through a lot of bone meal and a lot of gunpowder actually for elytra rockets, but this is a build that blends form and function, and I think that's one thing that makes it really cool. Very, very cool, in fact. Then we have over here, the library, the Grand Library. And in here we store a few different important things. We keep all of our enchanted books in here. So if I want, for example, an efficiency book, I can come in here and grab an enchanted book. And then upstairs, we keep records of all the comments of we do a comment of the day, and we keep a record of all the comments of the day since we started doing it in like episode, I don't know exactly when. It was whenever we finished the library, was when we started doing comments of the day. It was in March, apparently, according to that first book. I don't know what episode it was, but now I label them by episode number instead of by date. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. We could spend all day in Regnum looking around at all the different houses and all the different buildings. But, you know, as I said, check out the world download, explore it for yourself. We got a bathhouse, we've got the library, we've got the big marketplace in the middle. There's a ton of houses, there's temples, there's over here our main storage room. This is our main storage room for the world. We moved it over here, and you can see all of the chests. Just tons of storage space for all the different things, lots of organization so I can always find what I'm looking for very quickly. This is the military barracks I was talking about earlier, kind of inspired by the barracks from Age of Empires, actually, was where I got the idea for the layout of it. I thought that was kind of cool. We've got a couple other technical builds and farms over here as well. There's like in one of these houses, I think it's one of the ones, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. In here, this is a sand to red sand converter. You stand in here and you put red sand and it turns it into, or you put down regular sand and it turns it into red sand. Because this is red sandstone in my texture pack. Much better, much more attractive than the red sandstone in vanilla, if you ask me. But this is red sandstone, and we needed a lot of it for this area. And then in here, we got a couple of parrots hiding from when those were added to the game. And over here, as far as other technical builds, there's also a super smelter right here, that 16 furnace super smelter. And I've done a tutorial on this. This is actually a super smelter that I did a 15-minute build on after building it here. People asked, could you do this as a 15-minute build? And I said, sure, that's a great idea. So this is where it was initially built. This was the first time. A little bit of a well over here for water. I mean, there's just so much here. We could be here forever. Just like literally forever. We could be here, but I don't want to be here forever. We have other things to look at. So we're going to head into the Nether. And you'll also be able to find basically everything within the Nether. Now, not every kingdom, in fact, most of the kingdoms, do not actually have a Nether portal hooked up to them. There's this one that leads to Regnum. And then there's that one way down there that leads to Alltomb, the initial starting mercenary village. Those are the only kingdoms that actually have a portal. However, everything is connected up in roads, and it's all relatively close to each other, as you saw. Especially when you have an elytra, you can just fly around, piece of cake. But there are other things in the Nether. So this is our Nether tunnel design. It really kind of mirrors the style of Regnum, which is why I did the tunnel in this way. But down this way, there's an ice plain spikes. I haven't even done a tunnel here. The only thing down here of note is just ice plain spikes biome, in case I need packed ice. But down here, we've got our end portal. We've got a mesa for mining, mining mesa, basically. We've got an ocean monument. We've got a jungle. We got all sorts of stuff. And this is another relatively simple design. The lighting comes from lava underneath the glass here. But it works, and this is all spawn proof, so you can't get mobs spawning in on you. But down here, the path breaks off in a couple different ways. This one goes to the ocean monument and the jungle. And the ocean monument is actually right next to a jungle. This goes to, you've got one guess. If you guessed the end, you are correct. And down here, way over on this end, please fly. Thank you. This one goes to the mesa. So it's pretty easy to figure out which tunnel goes to which. And It should be pretty easy for you guys to figure out if you're trying to explore this world. But I do want to go over to the end. We're not. I didn't do anything with the ocean monument. I don't have like a guardian farm or anything like that built. It's just marked there in case I ever wanted to do anything with it. But let's go through the end portal, nether portal thing. And that will take us to our end portal room, which is right here. I do love this build. I think this is one of the cooler builds in the world. Got some inspiration here. I think I built this before I built the end portal in Hermitcraft at the end, towards the end of Hermitcraft Season 4. But I took a lot of ideas from that and applied them to this to kind of make the whole thing look interesting. But anyway, this is our end portal room, and going up the stairs, which I'm not going to be able to fly, but that's okay. Going up the stairs, there's some stuff up here. There's a desert, and in the desert, we have right here a squid farm. This is a squid farm. Yep. I forgot for a minute. You can see lots of squid, very simple. And then over here is a cactus farm that produces a bunch of cactus for us. So a couple of farms, but nothing else. Although they do kind of share a common style. We've got kind of this like deserty style going on with some color highlights here. It's not as pretty from up above, but it works. So I think the last thing we're going to look at in our tour is the end portal. And the reason I'm going to do that is because, well, frankly, it'll get us back to where we want to go, or not the end portal, the Enderman farm. And the biggest reason is because I need to repair my stuff in preparation for the start of Season 2. And, oh, it's really dark, but that's okay. It's lit up where we're going. And B, it'll actually, when we go out the end portal, it'll take us to where we want to go. So that's fine. So while I'm repairing some stuff, let's talk a little bit about Season 2. So what's going to happen is starting tomorrow, Season 1 will end, Season 2 will begin. I'm going to go find a location somewhere in the world that's far, far away. So it's still going to be within the same world. This is not the end of this world, okay? Because this world will never truly end. This is my forever world. This is the world that I want to play on for years and years and years. And the only way that this world will ever end is if Minecraft pushes out an update that says, by the way, you can't make use of your old worlds anymore if you want to play in the new update. That's the only way. Or like this world gets deleted or something on accident, corrupted. I've got backups for my backups for this world. So like that shouldn't be an issue, but I suppose anything could happen. Anyway, plan is I'm going to go far, far away. I'm going to take with me my tools and like a stack of food, and that's it. And we're gonna go far, far away, and we're gonna start over. We're gonna start fresh, just like a brand new series, and we're just gonna basically pretend that all the stuff that we built so far isn't here, at least to start with. As we accomplish tasks in the Minecraft progression tree, I guess you would call it, you know, like the things you do in a Minecraft world. If you get a food source, build a house, make a storage room, you know, whatever. Stuff like that. As we do those things, what we'll do is we will basically unlock the ability to come back and make use of other things that we've built in this world. So, for example, I can make use of our Enderman farm when I go to the end and slay the Ender Dragon again. Now, the Ender Dragon's already been slain, but we can respawn him, and that's doable. However, I think I would actually like to build a new Enderman farm. This one is a little bit outdated at this point. There are better Enderman farms around. I made, I think this was the first or second Enderman farm that I ever made. I think it was the second. And there are some things that I would do very differently now. And I think I would like to actually build a new Enderman farm. But just as an example, you know, we unlock the ability to use this Enderman farm, or a better example for it. Let's explain it this way. I can use Elytra once I actually go to the end and get an elytra, and only then am I going to allow myself to make use of it. Because I think it defeats the purpose of starting over if you just rely on all the farms and resources and stuff that I already have. I don't want to shut the door on that stuff forever. I want it because, you know, there are still plenty of unfinished kingdoms. Solace is unfinished. Wrathnor is unfinished. There's a lot of stuff that's unfinished. And yes, I know it's super dark, but we'll be going through the end portal in like 10 seconds, not even. But there's a lot of unfinished stuff. So I don't want to shut the door on those kingdoms forever by starting a totally new world. Spawn, by the way, right next to Alltomb. Alltomb is up this mountain from world spawn. But at the same time, I don't want to rely on those old things because we are starting season 2 and I want to start fresh and redo some things that we've already done as far as like building certain farms and stuff like that. Maybe try and do them in slightly different ways. I want to tackle new themes and new ideas and new styles and all sorts of stuff. We're not going to do anything that's going to break the immersion of kingdoms. I'm not going to do anything futuristic or science fiction-y or modern or anything like that because this world isn't about that. I want this world to still be kind of cohesive, but we're basically going to, you know, close the curtains on everything that we've built so far. And only once we've done something where we basically unlock the right to make use of these things will I come back and you know, make use of some of these farms and resources and stuff like that we've collected and built. I'm not going to shut the door on forever, but especially in the early game, I don't want to rely on all of this stuff. The only thing I'm going to bring with me is my tools, and I'll probably bring my armor and stuff with me too. But especially my tools. And the armor, maybe I'll leave my elytra behind. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to bring some stuff with me and I'm going to leave some stuff behind. But we're basically going to have to do everything over again, because even with the tools, that doesn't mean I'm still going to need food. I'm going to need a house. I'm going to need storage. I'm going to need all these different things. And that's, I think, the fun part of starting a new world is not the grind for the equipment, but the grind, and not even really the grind, but just the excitement of starting a new world and doing all sorts of cool stuff. So, guys, I think that is going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you've enjoyed 150 episodes of Kingdoms, and I hope you will be around for many, many more. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check those out as well, especially the world download and the texture pack. Those are available for you guys. Have fun with them. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.